almost said good morning. It is not. It is the afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to yoga class. My name is Caitlin, and we are going to start today on our backs. So when you get there, we'll keep the soles of the feet planted, knees up to the sky. You can bring the soles as close to the hips as you'd like. And we're going to start here for our meditation piece of practice. Really letting a weight come into the body. We start to inhale through the nose, sending it down into the belly. And we start to bring an awareness to all the pieces that are touching the earth, beginning to open up this pathway between the mind intelligence and the body intelligence. Start to notice how you're feeling today, physically, but also emotionally, mentally. Taking the time to stop and really be an observer. And then we bring the attention back to the breath and the connection of the body with our mat. So that which is touching the earth. Let's take 3 more conscious breath cycles, full inhales and extended long exhales. And after your next exhale, let's draw the knees up to the chest, wrapping the arms around the shins, maybe interlacing the fingers, or grabbing each shin individually. Or you always have the option of bringing the hands behind the hamstrings, right underneath the knees. And we'll gently squeeze the knees towards the chest, finding stillness and stability by shooting that tailbone towards the front of the mat. Keeping the belly nice and heavy, sinking down to the earth. Maybe you take some gentle rocks from side to side, giving a little massage in the low back. We'll take one more breath cycle here. And then stay for the inhale. On the exhale, legs are staying where they are. And we lift nose up to the knees, starting to wake up the abdomen, the core, activating this cycle of balance. We draw the shoulders down away from the ears. We're here for one more breath. And exhale, release the shoulders, head back down to the ground, arms come wide to a T. We square off the legs at the knees. Inhale. And exhale, we're dropping both legs over to the left. Both shoulders are stayed pinned down to the ground. If that feels impossible, come out of your twist a little bit until you make that connection. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we draw belly button back to spine, moving through center from the core and taking it over to the other side. Sticking with the breath, down into the belly. Your next exhale draws you up through center. Soles of the feet come down to the mat. Soles kiss together as we open the knees out wide. Tailbone can be either scooped up towards the ceiling or sending it down to the earth, creating a small back bend in the lower back. We're here for the inhale. Exhale, we bring the hands to the outsides of the thighs, gently guiding the legs back together. Right ankle crosses over the left thigh, coming into this reclined, almost like a reclined pigeon or a figure 4 shape. We're active through the right foot. Left hip is rooted down into the ground. We scoop the tailbone up towards the ceiling to bring the low back, flush with the mat, making the low abdomen nice and low and heavy. We inhale, and on the exhale is what moves you as we lift the left leg. Adjust if you need to. Left leg's at a 90-degree angle, bent at the knee. Stay here if this feels enough for you. Otherwise, we'll bring the hands around the back of the left thigh. And rooting the shoulders back down to the ground, giving a gentle pull in the left leg. We're active through both feet, protecting the knees. Stay for the inhale, maybe giving one more big squeeze. And the exhale, we lower gently with control. We unravel the right foot as we take it to the other side. So right foot plants firmly to the ground as we cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Scooping the tailbone and making that connection with the right hip. We inhale, and then exhale, we draw the right leg up, 90-degree angle at the knee. Stay here if this is enough for you, or if having the right foot down on the ground is enough for you, you can stay there too. Otherwise, we'll interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, exaggerating this stretch in the left leg, the left hip, left groin and glute. Stay for the inhale. And exhale, we lower, right foot down to the ground. We unravel the left leg. Right knee comes back up to the chest as we catch the shin with the hands. We send the left leg out long, but we keep it above the mat. So we're hovering right above the mat with the left leg. We inhale, and exhale, we squeeze that right knee towards the right shoulder. Take one more big inhale. And on the exhale, drop that left leg, exaggerating that movement of the right knee towards the right shoulder. So you notice that my left foot is very active, so we're pressing out through the sole of that left foot. We stay for one more inhale, and we do an extra twist today, guiding the right leg over the midline towards the left side of the mat. Right arm can come out to half T at your side if that feels comfortable. Dropping both shoulders down to the ground. Exhale, we activate through the center, drawing us back through the midline. As we send the right foot comes to the mat as we transition. So left knee comes up to the chest, we clasp it with the shin, on the shin. And we send the left leg out long, hovering the leg, the calf, the ankle above the mat. We squeeze that left knee towards the left shoulder. We are pressing out energetically through the sole of the right foot. Inhale, and on the exhale, we drop the right leg and bring that left knee closer to the left shoulder. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we cross left knee across the midline over to the right. Stay for the inhale. Exhale draws you through center. We're going to roll up to a seated position, but if you're not comfortable with that, you can always come onto your side in fetal position and press up that way. Otherwise, we'll kick the soles of the feet up high and roll up to a seated position. When you get there, left foot comes to the groin, to the midline. Right leg comes out long. You can place a hand on the ground at the inner thigh, on the outer thigh, or maybe bringing the forearm down by the calf. We inhale, left arm comes up to the ceiling. If this is enough for you, that's great. Otherwise, we'll guide the left fingers over towards the right toes. Breathing down into the belly, side body stretch. This is a big one. You can feel it from the fingertips all the way down to the lower left back and glute. We stay for one more inhale. And on the exhale, we're rotating left hand down to meet the right as we square off at the midline. So you can stay here with forearms on the ground. I'm going to square off here so that you can see me. Or you can rise and just keep the hands and arms in a more straight position. Otherwise, we bend at the hips. We're grinding down through that right heel. For stability, we're active through the right knee. Left toes are active. Sits bones and tail are reaching down to the ground. If you're having trouble making connection to the earth with the hips, bring yourself up on a folded blanket or a block, or a pillow would work too. Gaze is either straight down or you can drop the crown, releasing the tension in the neck. Crown shining down to the earth. Stay for one more inhale, and on the exhale, we'll slowly crawl ourselves up to a seated position as we take it to the other side. So right foot comes to the midline, left leg is out long. We're pressing down through the heel, active through the knee. Find your hand placement, and we'll inhale, right arm up to the ceiling. Or maybe over towards the left toes. Really sending the breath down to the lower right quadrant of the back, the hip, the glute. Stay for one more inhale. And exhale, we roll that right arm down to meet the left as we square off at center. So the forehead, nose, heart, belly button, groin are all in line with each other as we either drop the gaze down to the earth or shine the crown down. We're drawing the shoulders away from the ears. If you're on your forearms, elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. Maybe you find a little more space with each exhale and need to adjust. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we activate the center, drawing belly button to spine as we walk ourselves up to a seated position. Left leg is coming to meet the right. So you can come into a seated cross-legged position, bringing the feet underneath the outsides of the calves. Or we can be heel to pelvis, heel to the front of the ankle. And we do this now with both legs. So we sit up nice and tall. And exhale, we start to drape the belly over the line of the legs, bringing the forearms down to the mat so we're heavy through the hips. Soft and loose in the spine. We stay for the inhale and exhale, hips stay nice and heavy as we walk the hands over to the left side of the mat. Stay for the inhale. Exhale draws you through center, staying nice and low as we take it to the other side. Exhale draws you back through center. You can stay nice and low and roll through the ankles to come onto all fours, or you can kick the legs off to the side and meet me there that way. Knees come underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet press down into the earth, or you can keep the toes curled. We're pressing away from the yoga mat, gaze is straight down, belly button draws up to the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, lift the tail. Exhale, we round through, pulling the tail towards the belly button, dropping the crown and exaggerating the dome in the chest. Inhale, drop the belly, cow. Exhale, we round through. Take a few more rounds on your own here, syncing up your movement with the breath. When you're in cow, make sure you're pressing away, lifting out of the shoulder girdle. Do one more round. Inhale, and then exhale. And then start to find some gentle organic movement. So you have room to play here, maybe shifting the hips from side to side, bringing head opposites. Maybe you take just some full hip rotations to start waking up the low body. Maybe gently rocking the hips from side to side. Maybe you take a figure 8 flow here and come around in a full rotation. Wait for one more breath cycle. And then we'll come back to tabletop. We stay for the inhale, exhale, we're sending hips up high for downward facing dog. When you get there, pedal it out if you need to. Remember, you can always keep the knees bent if the hamstrings are really tight or you feel that you're compromising the length of the spine. Otherwise, let's just do a little body scan. Elbow creases are shining towards each other, towards the front of the mat, widening the shoulder blades across the back. Belly button is drawn up to the spine to protect the low back. Ribs are soft. Toes are pointed slightly towards the midline. Fingers are wide in their connection with the mat. And we're pressing away from the mat, bringing ourselves out of the shoulder joint. We stay for the inhale and exhale. Let's take a nice slow crisscross walk up to the front of the mat. So right foot comes in front of the left leg over to the left side of the mat. And then left leg crosses over to the right side of the mat. Maybe you pause here for a minute. And again. right over left, maybe pausing to feel that big stretch in the IT band. As we meet together in a forward fold, feet are hip width apart. When you get there, clasp the elbows, drop the crown, gently sway side to side. Inhale, and on the exhale, we start to roll our way up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead. Left hand grabs the right wrist as we inhale, and then exhale, bringing the right hand over towards the left side of the body. Inhale. Exhale draws you through center as we take it to the other side. Right hand grabs left wrist as we take the left hand over to the right. Stay for the inhale. Exhale draws you through center as we go one more time. Left hand grabs right wrist. Exhale brings you through as we take it to the other side. Exhale, we release the arms, bringing them down by our sides, stepping into mountain. Excuse me. Arms go down to come up on the inhale. Palms can either kiss together before you descend, or you can flip the palms to face the outside if you want to swan dive down. But either way, here we go into our standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale lifts you up halfway. Shoulder blades are pulled together, belly buttons up to the spine. Exhale, we fold. Hands come down to the mat. Left foot back, right foot back. We're in plank. Inhale to shift forward. Exhale, we lower halfway. Flip the feet, open the chest, upward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Hips are going up high, moving from our center. We come into downward facing dog. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we step it up and roll our way up to mountain. Palms kiss together and descend at the heart space. So here we go again. Arms go down and come up on the inhale. We're starting to warm up the body, sync up with the breath. Practice slow. Lower halfway on the exhale. Inhale, toes flip as we come up into upward facing dog, or you can always drop the legs and come down into cobra. Making our way to downward dog on the exhale. Stay for the inhale. Exhale steps you up. Palms descend at the heart space. Arms go down to come up. Go ahead and move through a couple more rounds on your own, adding or omitting anything that does or doesn't serve you today. And that can look different than it did yesterday and different than it will look tomorrow. Try to take your full inhale and full exhale per movement. Finish the round that you're on, and then do one more. Taking your time, moving at your own pace. When you finish your last round, I will meet you in downward dog, where we will take 3 full breath cycles. Resting and releasing the low back. Last breath cycle, really empty on the exhale. And we drop the knees, bring the big toes together, knees as wide as the yoga mat. We sink the hips back onto the heels and release the belly, chest, and forehead down to the mat for extended child's pose. You can always bring the elbows wide. If you're really tight, in the pectoral muscles, the chest, and the shoulders. You can always bring the palms together and drop them right behind the neck, the base of the skull. If the triceps are tight. Stay for one more inhale. Exhale draws us back up onto all fours. We bring the knees under the hips, curl the toes under. Stay for the inhale. We're using downward dog as a transition. So we exhale, send the hips up high. Left foot comes to the midline. We lift the right leg up high. Or if you don't like that, you don't have to do it. And exhale, we step the foot up in between the hands. We're in low lunge. Inhale, exhale, we rise up to high lunge and then sink into our posture. Inhale, exhale, we drop the hands behind the back, interlacing them behind the tail, and draw the fingers down towards the earth, opening the chest. Maybe you get a little back bend here. Inhale, and on the exhale, we move from the hips, bringing the torso right next to that right thigh, and we gaze out in front of the right toes. Inhale, and exhale, we release the hands, swinging them up, bringing us back up into high lunge, and we pivot on the back foot, opening up to warrior two. So pelvis is right underneath the heart space. Front heel and back arch are in line with each other. Wrists are in line with the shoulders. Gaze is straight forward. Inhale, exhale, back arm drops, front arm lifts, peaceful warrior. Exhale, we shift forward, extended side angle. So front hand can either come down to the earth or you can keep forearm on the front thigh. If you're further along in your practice or you want to try something new, you can always take a bind underneath the leg. Back arm reaches up to the ceiling or out towards the front of the mat. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we power back up into peaceful warrior. Exhale, we rotate back down, drawing that right foot back to meet the left, coming back into downward facing dog. This time we inhale, left leg up high. Exhale, step it up. We're in lunge. Inhale, Exhale, powers us up, high lunge, arms come up, and then we settle. Check your alignment, knee over ankle, we're strong in our foundation. Back heel is spiking towards the back edge of the mat. Arms drop down behind us in space. We interlace the fingers, drawing the fingers along the tail down towards the earth, opening the chest. Exhale, we bend at the hips, bringing the torso next to that left thigh as we gaze out past our toes. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we release the arms, swinging them up to high lunge, opening up to warrior two, pivoting on that back foot. Inhale, exhale, front arm lifts, back arm drops, peaceful warrior. Exhale, find your extended side angle. Exhale, powers you back up into peaceful warrior. And exhale, you pivot, bringing the left foot back to meet the right. Excellent. We inhale, right foot is stepping up again in between the hands. This time we stay nice and low. As we bring the right hand over to meet the left, we pivot the right toes towards the long edge of the mat, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So both feet and you are facing the left side of your mat. Toes are pointed slightly in towards the midline. Hips are rotated externally up towards the sky. And we start to drop the crown towards the earth. If that is not something that is in your practice today, that's okay. The crown doesn't have to get anywhere close to the earth. We're just releasing into a forward fold. Just bringing awareness into the arms, keeping the elbows in line with the shoulders. We're pressing into the outside of the feet. We're active through the arches, drawing an energy up through the inner thigh. Stay for the inhale, and on the exhale, we're walking both hands over towards the left foot. Bringing an activity and stretch to the left groin and the right low back. Exhale draws you through center as we take it to the other side. Exhale draws you back through center. We bring the fingertips towards the earth as we heel toe, the feet closer to the midline. Feet stay still a little wider than the hips. Toes point out this time, heels come towards the midline as we start to sink the hips down into our squat. Elbows come to the inner knees. Squeezing with the legs, pushing with the arms, and we bring the heart space towards the thumbs, opening the chest, lengthening the spine. Stay for one more breath cycle. And on the exhale, hands come forward as we make our way onto our knees. So if you need to square back off to the front of the mat, that is fine. Left leg shoots out long as we use this as a transition. Right knee comes up behind the wrist as we swivel that right foot over to the left side of the mat. And we start to walk the back leg towards the back edge of the mat, bringing that right hip closer to the earth as we start to make our way into one-legged sleeping pigeon. If you feel like there's just too much room between your right hip and the mat, you can always bring a pillow up underneath there or a folded blanket to help with support. We're light on the fingertips as we sit up nice and tall. We're pressing down through the top of the back foot for stability, active through the knee of the back leg. Toes of the front leg are pulling towards the shin. Stay for the inhale, and then exhale, we start to drape the belly, chest down towards the earth. So find a placement that works for you. Maybe you keep upper body in Sphinx pose with elbows right underneath the shoulders, palms face down. Maybe you stack the palms one on top of the other and drop the forehead. Maybe fist over fist. If you have a block or a blanket that you would rather rest your head on, that's okay too. Or maybe we extend the arms out long, dropping the forehead to the earth. And we start to send our breath down to that right hip, giving it permission to release. Stay for 2 more breath cycles here, make them count. And after your next exhale, we'll gently start to rise back up to a seated position. We come out of this by curling the toes of the back leg, activating the knee, lifting that back leg and sliding the right back to meet the left. Left knee comes up behind the left wrist as we swivel that left foot over towards the right edge of the mat. Remember, you can always keep the foot underneath the pelvis if moving the foot over towards the right side of the mat is not something that feels good. We sit up nice and tall, making sure our foundation is firm and set up for success. And exhale, we gently start to melt the belly, chest, and forehead down to the earth, or stacking the hands to support the forehead. Keeping an awareness in the feet, your foundation. And stay for one more inhale. And exhale, we gently start to rise. Curl the toes of the back leg, lifting that back knee. We bring the left back to meet the right, and let's lower all the way onto the belly. Bring palm over palm, and either rest the forehead on the hands or the side of the face. Stay here for as long as you need today, or if you need to get back to work, I understand too. Thank yourself for taking the time today. You did good. And I will see you on Friday.